I'll cut out all the chit chat to get us started on the box text chit chat that was going to launch this campaign. So,
Oh boy.
how are we feeling? Are we ready for this? You should see the actual box text from the actual book is like, it's like 2 columns.
Jeez.
But I've cut some of it out and pasted in some of my own. So here it is.
So you made it longer.
I kept it about the same, if I'm being honest. I didn't cut out that much, and then I put
sure?
more stuff in there.
I can go get some popcorn if you want.
Yeah, you better grab your sodas, grab your whatever you got to get through this. It's gonna be a bit.
Was that Snapple? I feel like that should be.
Product placement, in case.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Snapple. We have to say that.
Awesome.
All right. So, you are all this adventure begins, of course, in Baldur's Gate. It is a veritable nest of crime, of political intrigue, of smuggling and betrayal and all sorts of the nasty things. It is a nest of rats and vipers that cling to the rocky slopes that overlook the Kyanthar River. From the high perches of the upper city, the upper tier of the city, the highest plateau that is ringed by the original wall of the city, the local nobles, who are known as patriarchs, gaze down with veiled contempt upon the common rabble of the lower city, which hugs the foggy harbor, where it was usually a bustling scene of commerce, Baldur's Gate being so privileged to be connected not only to the Sword Coast, but also this river, which allows it to have this strategic trading position to get to such far places as Chult and do trade with the other prosperous cities along the Sword Coast like Waterdeep and Neverwinter. The whole of Baldur's Gate reeks of blood, crime, and opportunity. One can easily fathom why pirates and traders are drawn to this place like flies to a carcass. Following the river further east into the mainland, you would lead you to the city of Elturel. It's the capital of the Holy Land of Elturgard, or at least it was. That was the case up until a few days ago. And it is only because of the flood of refugees that have made their way to Baldur's Gate that news of this missing city has come to the populace of Baldur's Gate. This news of the city is quite extraordinary, and there are likely to be amongst your neighbors and the people that you live disbelievers in the story that these refugees are telling. They spoke of. It's kind of common knowledge that the city of Elturel had this orb of light that hovered above the city, kind of perpetually, a relic of days gone by. Many of the people of the holy city saw it as a good omen of the gods, the good aligned gods like Torm and Tyr and Lathander, of course. But several days ago, that orb went black. And it was almost as if there was a fissure in it, and it started leaking this chaotic energy, and a great darkness went over the city. Those that were fortunate enough to be outside the walls of the city probably described it something like a flashbang or something. Like the entire the vision went completely white, and when vision came back to their eyes, all they saw was a crater where their great city once was. And now there are, of course, rumors spreading amongst the populace maybe Baldur's Gate is next. Maybe this is just an illusion, some trickery, all sorts of conjecture. Nobody has any hard facts about this event. But the refugees that have come to Baldur's Gate seeking refuge are crowding around in the outer city. That area of the city that is outside of the city wall. The Flaming Fist, the mercenary company that the patriarchs kind of put their trust in, sort of hold almost exclusionary rights over keeping the peace. They are cracking down. They've got kind of a zero tolerance policy that no one is allowed in the city to keep out this influx. They don't feel that that the city is able to accommodate these folk. And likewise, no one is being allowed to leave until more information can be confirmed. But these greater events have not prevented mourning from coming to Baldur's Gate. And indeed, you all, of course, this morning find yourselves at the open-air market of the Wide. This marketplace and plaza, which is located in the upper city, the more wealthy district that is home to many of the noble houses. And the sun has just crowned over the horizon. Merchants are gathering near their stalls, and they're starting to set up shop. And within moments, the entire area will be filled shoulder to shoulder with customers eager to purchase such things like Chultan tobacco, Kalimshan spices, and even the local fare. And where we will pick up, I think, given enough time through the course of this introductory phase of our adventure, I'm going to have each of you kind of introduce yourselves when it becomes fit to do so. And I think we're going to start the focus of our adventure on Laurelm. You might be muted.
Hey. Yes, Lorem. Lorem is Lorem Gold Shoulder is a hill dwarf, about 4'10", although he'll say that he's 4'11" to everyone he meets. He's 118 years old, not quite middle-aged, but will be there faster than he would like. And he is a businessman. The Gold Shoulder family is famous for their breweries and meaderies in Baldur's Gate and throughout the Sword Coast. However, Lorem wants to strike his own beat. He has founded a company called Lorem Gold Shoulder Adventure Consulting and Concern, and his goal is to market adventuring to more people. People come to him with contracts, things that need done, and he will make sure that adventurers get sent out promptly to fix whatever problems that the rather disappointing Flaming Fist will not.
Okay. So, of course, that is sort of your business here in the Wide this morning. You regularly come to the Wide to find employees or people that might fill out the ranks of your fledgling business. And one of the best spots for this is, of course, at a sort of landmark that is widely known to and beloved by the folks of Baldur's Gate. A statue that is known to one and all as the beloved Ranger. And so this is a great spot for you this morning to pass out some of your literature, some of your cards that have your information. But it is a common practice for you when you come here in the mornings to take note that this is kind of like where the staff of the Wide kind of gather to maybe dole out assignments to the vendors and the merchants that come to the Wide. It's kind of well known to all the merchants that you got to get here early to get the best spot in the Wide. You want the best retail curb space, and how the staff of the Wide decides exactly how people get different spots in the marketplace is kind of a mystery. The man that's in charge is known as Bailiff Jedrin Hiller, and well, he's very protective of his formula on how he decides people go. It's a lot of people have a lot of conjecture or rumors about his registry. He never lets anyone see his registry. And so you're here this morning, and what you are observing as you're standing by the statue of the beloved ranger, it seems like there's an abundant amount of activity surrounding this spot. You can see there's a member of the Watch, and the Watch is not associated with the Flaming Fist, but they're kind of like the personal guard, or they're like the beat cops that really only deal with the upper ward. You might find them in the lower ward on occasion, but they're really there for the aristocracy. And so you can see this one individual that you recognize who isn't the bailiff. It seems like he's being kind of harried by all these different merchants that are kind of surrounding him and crowding him. And you can see he looks somewhat bewildered.
What's his name?
His name is Burr. He's a human male. He's got kind of a roundish face with a big drooping black mustache. He's kind of a rotund feller. And he just seems to be, you can see he's just kind of wiping his brow, and people are just yelling at him in unison, and he just looks totally bewildered.
I walk up to him from the side and just kind of tap him on the arm and goes, "Burr, what's gone into you? What's going on here?"
He says, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. Calm down, everybody. I will get to you just shortly." And he looks at you, Laurel, and he says, "Have you seen Jed?"
I have not.
Where the hell is he? I don't know. He usually right at 5 bells. We are to meet here and get the staff assignment. He hears someone is yelling at him. "Are you bloody kidding me, Burr? I sell perfume, you idiot! You can't put me next to Otis and his fermented cabbage." And he says, I'm sorry, Sarah. I'll make the changes." And you hear another person is yelling, really upset about their place in the Wide, and they're demanding to see Jed.
I will go ahead and step in front of Burr and try and wave to the crowd. People, come on. These things happen. This machine's been well oiled for so long, you can't expect us to not have a hiccup eventually. Come on, it'll all get sorted out. Just patience, please.
Give me a persuasion check.
Alright, first roll of the campaign.
And it didn't go so well.
Great start.
Not a 1.
Not a 1.
Could have been worse.
But Laurel, you're trying to strike up, a confident, empowering, commanding voice, and just nobody's listening. Everyone's just talking over you. No one's paying attention to the words coming out of your mouth.
I keep trying, but it's not working.
Suddenly, and you can see poor Burr is trying to get control of the crowd, but he's not having any better luck than you. Then suddenly, Laurel, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and a voice says, "Son, perhaps you better step out of the way. Let a real man take control of this crowd." And you look behind you and you can see this man who has kind of like disproportionate, kind of like he skips leg day a little bit. Like he's all like muscle mass, like kind of up top, but then like his armor that he wears on his lower half, you can tell just like is a little off. He just looks a little odd. He's got kind of these chicken legs. Human male. He's got kind of wavy blonde hair. He's quite striking. Quite a good-looking man. And he wears. Well, let's see if I can get the image. But you would immediately peg him as a member of the Flaming Fist. Because he wears a badge with this symbol upon it. And you can see him kind of step in front of you, and he says, "All right, I want to see an orderly line, but this poor man can't handle all your concerns all at once. Please, make a line. And he's kind of directing traffic a bit. And then you can see people get real spooked as soon as they see this man. He's kind of waving around a baton. And so they all kind of shape up, and they start forming a line, and you can see Burr gives him kind of a look of admiration that he helped him out of this jam. And then the big burly man looks back at you, Lorelm, and he says, "Are you the same Lorelm that operates Gold Sunder?" And you can see him like he's looking for his pack, and he pulls out a scroll. Gold Shoulder something.
I take a business card out of my breast pocket. Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern.
Yeah, that's what I said, son.
That's what I thought. Yes,
Good.
why yes.
Good. And you
I'm gonna assist the Flaming Fist.
you employ adventurers?
I do.
Good. You're exactly the one that I am looking for. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Captain Niles Breakbone.
Well, Captain Brickham, it was?
Niles Breakbone, and don't get smart there.
Breakbone. Apologies, sir. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Well, apparently you didn't, because you got it wrong.
That would be correct. How can I assist you, Captain Breakbone?
How many adventurers do you have under your employ?
Well, that are free at the moment, none. But I'm sure I could whip up a couple for you. Why? What's the task?
Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss it, but I would like to make an introduction. Well, I demand that you round up a few.
Well, of course.
I demand it.
Of course, but the size of the party and the makeup of the party is mostly determined by the task at hand.
It does not matter at all. We will take literally anyone.
All right, I will be sure to grab literally anyone.
All right. Well, are they around? Can you make an introduction? Time is of the essence.
Yes, sir. They are scattered. I will go and fetch them now, but it might take a couple of minutes. I will be back here within the half hour.
No, I will come with you. Let's gather them up because we got work to do.
Well, certainly. Follow me then.
So he starts to follow you through as you're kind of navigating through the winding, these kind of makeshift. It's not really a road. It's just the wide is just like this big kind of like barren patch of dirt. It's very flat, kind of analogous, I guess, to like a parking lot or something. But there are paths that you kind of have to meander through the the trenches of all the different carts and shop wagons and things like that have lined up. And so we will turn our attention to I think we'll turn our attention to Aplos. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yep. Aplos.
So you have of course every morning you get here really early because you save a spot, like one of the best spots for your friend Evangeline. Evangeline? Which one?
Evangeline.
Evangeline. Okay.
Yes.
I'll tell you all the same thing I tell most of the students that I see. I'll get it in like 3 weeks. I guess let's have a little introduction to Aplos.
So Aplos is about 5'8". He's a young foreign elf, so just coming up just shy of his 75th birthday. Chestnut curly hair, hasn't quite lost the baby fat in his face, so he doesn't have that slightly angular look of elves yet. He's still got that like little hint of halfling gnome. You can see where that came from. And of course, he's got the brightest, shiniest chainmail, great wonking greatsword, and a bow because it looks good on him. And every morning, just after curfew ends, he trots himself out into the wide, stands there and waves to Bailiff Jedry, and saves a spot for his good friend and business associate, meaning that she gives him a few coin for doing this, Evangeline. And then, with that done, Aplos is off scurrying about, many errands to run, scampering down, escorting folk in and out of the city, making sure everyone has a grand time. But unfortunately, it seems there's been a bit of a break in his business, as no one's allowed in or out. So, But at least he has Evangeline coming, and she is somewhere in this pile of people. And where in the world is Bailiff Jedry?
Actually, you saw him this morning. You got here so early that you were probably the first person. You actually beat him to the wide. And so... but, as you know, Bailiff... Jed, as a lot of people call him, you know a little something about probably what his formula is. You gotta sweeten the pot usually to get a good spot. And so when you got here this morning, held true to your daily routine and met with him, what would Aplos have given him as a sweetener to get this good spot?
Well, I think just being there, of course, the bailiff shows up, and since I just came from home just a little ways over, I've got, a little croissant for him, iced coffee, and, maybe it happens to come with a copper or two, as Evangeline has instructed, silver, or the appropriate... He doesn't really grasp money, I don't think, so whatever Evangeline has determined was the right amount of coinage, there we are.
Okay, so kind of a little bit of a sweetener in terms of here's your morning coffee, here's a little breakfast for you, and maybe a small bit of coinage for him. All right, and that seems to have worked because you secured the best spot, the one that you usually try to get for her, the one that she prefers, which is right next to a small patch of green space, the only patch of green space that is... inside the wide, and it's the only tree that is visible within probably several blocks of the city. And so there's a large oak tree there that provides a nice bit of shade. It's a common place for the shoppers to kind of stop off and loiter and linger there. So it's a great spot. And there is a coveted space there. There's a little kind of wooden box essentially that's covered which is a great spot for Evangeline, and you're waiting there. And you can see another merchant is pushing a small cart full of what appear to be little metal objects, toys to your eye, little metal like rats and cat figurines and things like this, and they all have little turnkeys in their back. And this gnomish fellow, kind of balding, is kind of waddling a little bit. He's taking his time along the road, and he stops, quite visibly exhausted, and he's kind of breathing heavily. And then he looks at you, Aplos, and he says, "Can you spare a bit of water?"
Oh, of course. Just a moment. Here. And canteen and it's adventurer grade, but has no scuffs on it at all. Like, it looks very new. He's like, there you are.
And he says, "Oh, thank you." And he takes a few gulps and hands it back to you. And he's like, "Oh, that hit the spot. Say, have you seen, has anybody taken this spot over here?" And he points over at, there's another little stall, kind of opposite the tree, from where you're at.
Oh, well, you just have to speak to my good friend, Bailiff Jedry. He's just over, and he'll arrange for a spot for you.
I overheard some of the other people saying that he can't be found, so the line was really long. I thought, maybe I'll just take my chances. I think better to ask for forgiveness, right?
Well, the fines, I believe, are fairly steep, so you want to be very careful about such things. Always best to follow the rules. And if Bailiff Jedry isn't here, I'm not sure I've ever experienced that. But I'm sure someone would be in charge.
Make a...
And he'll sort of like stand up as tall as he can and look around. Is who looks to be in charge?
Make an insight check.
Sure. 12.
You're looking around, and as you're looking up and down, like the row of carts and vendor spots down the road that you're on, it doesn't seem like there's anybody in charge. What you're picking up from the other merchants and people that have come here to sell their things is everyone looks very disgruntled and upset. And there's a lot of people that are angrily pointing towards, you can't really see the entrance to the wide from where you're at, but you get the sense that they're all pointing in that general direction.
Well, it looks like there's some disturbance over there. It probably wouldn't do harm to rest there, but I wouldn't unpack and set up until you got permission from the bailiff or his appropriate functionary. But of course, you can take your rest there. That's acceptable.
Oh, perhaps you're right. Oh, yeah. I guess the law doesn't make any exceptions for anyone. You hear about all these refugees coming from out east?
Oh yes, I've heard of that. I believe the Fist is asking them to wait outside until something can be found out. We wouldn't want them crowding.
That's true. I kind of feel for them out there. They're all stuck with no home, and they're stuck out there in the outer city. Well, that's what a welcome, right? They're all probably getting their stuff stolen, and they're probably... No. It's a bad way to represent our city.
Well, we must follow the protocol. It's very important. Otherwise, they'd all come in, and then we would just have a problem in here as well. But I'm sure they're taking care of it as quickly as possible. The Flaming Fist are wonderful folk. Have you ever met Captain Niles Breakbone? I hear he's tremendously strong.
Niles Breakbone? Isn't he... Isn't he that disgraced guy that the Order of the Gauntlet put out there in Chult? I thought I read something about it in the broadsheets.
Oh.
He
Well,
works
I
for the
hadn't
Flaming
heard that.
Fist. I didn't know that.
Huh. Well, I'll have to keep an eye out for that one. I don't read a lot of papers. Very busy, actually. I'm just waiting here for my friend Evangeline. She's a merchant as well. I'm not sure if your wares and her wares would be complementary, but she has a great mind for business.
And it is at this time that you see Evangeline pushing her cart of wares in your direction through the dirt. Evangeline, I'm realizing Evangeline.
It's okay.
give us the intro to your character.
Okay, so you'll see Evangeline going down this pathway, and she looks rather concerned about all of this hullabaloo because she is not a fan of hullabaloo. And she is kind of vaguely elven, looks to be just starting to crest middle age, and she is selling things that are of high quality. She prides herself in getting the things that others might not be able to acquire, and has a good reputation in the area for being able to do so. So she's coming down, seeing this chaos, and is, I'm presuming, looking to make sure that her spot was actually secured.
And indeed it is. As you see your friend Aplos speaking with a gnome with a bunch of tinker toys, essentially.
All right, so I come up to him, pushing my cart still, and say, "What is all this? What's going on here?"
Miss Evangeline, I did have the opportunity to speak with Bailiff Jedrick earlier, and your spot has been reserved. My apologies, sir. I have completely forgotten introductions. This gnome fellow whose name I forgot to ask. Sir? Your name?
My name is Price.
Mr. Price, I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Miss Evangeline. She'll be setting up her stall here, and she may be able to offer you some additional insight into the goings-on when the bailiff is unavailable. Miss Evangeline, Bailiff Jedry seems to have left the area after assigning you this spot.
That's rather odd, is it not? Has he ever done that before?
It is. I seem to recall him having done it once or twice when he had a bit of indigestion, but so rare, and he always left someone in charge. I don't think he has this time.
Did he seem odd when you saw him?
Thinking back on it...
Make an insight check.
He... 10.
Everything seemed to be normal in terms of like the procedure. You know, you gave him the gifts, and you saw him like scribble down something on in his ledger, and he took you right over to this spot as he tends to do. You know, there are days when he gets a little grouchy and he might be in a bad mood and he puts you somewhere different, but this is typically the spot that you get.
No, it all seemed very normal. He didn't have any greenish cast to him or like any growling noises coming from his stomach, as he sometimes does.
That's a relief.
Yes, it just seemed like an ordinary morning.
Well, this is all rather strange, though, because it's anything but ordinary. Look at this chaos. No one's going to come buy anything here. They don't even have merchants and Okay, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. I appreciate greatly what you have done for me. Securing my spot appears that you may have secured the only spot, so you should be greatly applauded for that. And as for you, Mr. Price, what are you looking to do?
Well, I was just looking to set up shop over here, but I think Aplos is right. I better not do so without the permission from the watch because I can't afford to get a fine.
They can be rather harsh. Yes, that is true.
So you kind of are talking about the oddities of what's going on here today, and Bryn, you also find yourself in the wide this morning. Tell us a little bit about what we need to know about your character as we start up here.
Okay. Bryn is a young female halfling. She's just reached adulthood, but she has been quote-unquote adulting for quite a while. She's a member of a fairly large family, so has to take care of quite a few of her younger siblings. When every day in the morning, her family runs a shelter for many of the city's poor and the refugees that are streaming forth into the city. And so she goes out in the morning to the wide to collect any rejected foodstuffs or other items that merchants would like to rather discard, and she collects them for her shelter.
And of course, that is why you find yourself in the wide this morning. There are a number of not only very tasty food carts here, but also some very generous folk that are willing to give you their extras. And so you are stopping by a small wooden cart from which a dwarven baker by the name of Delro Ironjaw, she sells many things like loaves of bread, pies, a lot of baked goods. And so she's one of the people that you frequently get something from. She's usually quite generous. And so you're at her cart, and you can see her rosy cheeks kind of flush, and you can see the twinkle in her eye as she sees you. You're quite good friends, and she says, "Oh, Bryn, what brings you out so early this morning?"
Oh, Miss Ironjaw. Good morning as well. You know, the usual. Out collecting everyone's bountiful generosity, of course. And speaking of which, and she kind of holds up her empty wicker basket, kind of gestures. You're always one of the most generous of the merchants out here in the wide. Is there anything you'd like to contribute to our shelter?
Oh, and you can see she kind of like looks over her shoulder, and you can see her husband is kind of behind the cart, and he's unloading some things, onto some tables that they put out. And as you know, he isn't so charitable, and so she's kind of keeping an eye out for him. And she says, "Oh, I think I could probably spare a few biscuits," and she kind of tries to like clandestinely like hand some or get them into your pack. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh boy.
She kind of needs your help a little bit on this. Okay. So you kind of hold out the pack sort of like out of the line of vision from the opposite end of the cart, and she just kind of like dips them in there. And no problem. He doesn't. She kind of waits until his back is turned, and there's a good amount of food there in your bag.
Okay, I give her a wink.
And she says, "I know how terrible it is for those folks out there, and everything that your family does for those poor refugees is a goodness. There's not many good people here in Baldur's Gate. I appreciate what you're doing." And, well, Timora be with you.
Yeah, you as well. Take care of yourselves.
And as you are leaving her cart and you turn around, you can see just, I don't know, probably maybe less than 100 feet away, you can see Aplos and Evangeline, and they're talking with a gnome. You're familiar with them.
Yep. Yeah, I'll look around and head over towards their direction. Aplos. Over here.
Miss Bryn, hello.
Hi. This is Miss Evangeline, I think.
Yes, Miss Evangeline, and our new friend, Mr. Price.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Price?
Hi, I'm okay. I'm a little tired, though.
Oh, yes. Are you from around here?
Well, actually, originally I'm from Neverwinter, but so about 5 years ago I relocated down here, and he just goes on and on about his life story, and he'll go on forever if you let him.
Excellent. Well, I see you've, Mr. Price, have got quite a valuable spot here in the wide next to Miss Evangeline here.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I could get the spot over here by this tree, because, you know, I figure kids like trees, and that's kind of the target market for these toys here. And so if I could... But the guy that I'm looking for, he ain't around. Have you seen him?
Who? And I look at Aplos and Evangeline.
Oh, Miss Bryn, Bailiff Jedry has gone missing. You didn't happen to see him as you were coming in, did you?
Bailiff Jedrin, Hiller, right? Have I seen him before, DM?
You have not.
Okay. No. I didn't see him on my way out. No.
Oh.
Is that what all that commotion out there in the front is about?
I think so. It seems he was probably called away before he was able to say who was going to be making the assignments. So, a bit of a mess, I think.
Oh. That is, seems quite highly unusual. Well, I'm sure the Flaming Fist or whoever they have on it is busy trying to figure it out.
And as you are all having your conversation, you are interrupted by a woman who is dressed. She's kind of in her probably late 50s. She's very elegantly dressed. Long burgundy gown. Lots of very elegant jewelry, which many of the pieces that she is wearing actually were purchased right here at this cart from Evangeline. And you know her as Miriam Caldwell. She is the wife of one of the patriarchs in the upper city, and she comes over to you, and she looks pale white. Like, just, she's very fretful. Like, she comes running over, and she kind of grabs a hold of you, Aplos, and she's just panting, and she says, there's trouble. Come help.
Oh, of course, Lady Caldwell. What sort of trouble? And he starts moving in that direction.
And she like takes off as soon as she's got your attention. She kind of like grabs you by your collar and says, "Wait, there's no time. There's no time."
Oh, of course. Miss Bryn, would you mind coming along?
Yes, coming.
And Evangeline, what are you doing?
Well, was starting to set up my shop, but this is disconcerting, and I don't want to leave everything out in the open here while they run off, and so I'm just kind of poking my head around because I'm also very upset that I know Miss Lady Caldwell and I consider her a good customer, and so I'm feeling a little conflicted now. So I'm just kind of peeking around and seeing if there's some way I can secure my things and, see what's happening here.
Yeah, so you all kind of follow her, and she takes you all over to that big oak tree. And she's just like, eyes are wide, and she puts her like hands over her mouth. And she looks up in the tree and she points. You have to help! And you all look up and you can see there is this white fluffy cat that is stuck some maybe 10 feet up in a branch. And she says, Trixie will never get down. She can't survive that fall. Please.
Oh.
She's everything to me.
Oh, of course. Lady Cromwell, no trouble at all. Miss Bryn, do you think with a boost?
All right. And she kind of goes up to the boost, and as she gets up, like her face is her mouth is next to Atlas's ear, and just goes, "You have to be kidding me."
Oh no, this is very important. She's
Okay.
prize winning.
She sets her basket down. All right.
And just kind of does a stirrup and like, hey,
Yeah. Her shoulders are sagging, like very, very annoyed about this.
All right, Aplos,
practically family.
give me a strength athletics check at advantage.
Which one? Sorry, which one of us?
I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're the one that's getting up in the tree.
Oh wait, are you boosting me up?
I think I'm boosting you up. That was
Yeah.
that was my
Oh,
plan.
I'm sorry.
That's what I
I
thought.
misunderstood.
You're the halfling on the elf.
Bryn then at advantage.
Yeah. All right. And it's I'm sorry, strength
Yep.
or
It could be athletics.
it is the same for me. So advantage.
Okay, so Aplos very eagerly like gives you a boost, and you kind of like actually like get some hang time, and like you're about to like grab onto like the bough, the branch of the tree, and you just like oof, and you fall onto your side. You take a point of damage. You kind of feel like you got a little bruised like shoulder.
Oh, Bryn. Miss Bryn, I'm so sorry. You're lighter than you look. No, I mean you're
It's fine, Aplos. It's fine. Just,
Don't worry about him. What about Trixie?
Well, no, of course. But Miss Bryn is well. I suppose I could. And he just sort of like just tries to help Bryn up, and at the same time he's trying to help Bryn up, he's trying to climb the tree like one-handed.
It's fine, Aplos. Just you can do it yourself if you can. I think you're taller.
And then he just tries to.
All right, give me a strength athletics check.
Sure.
Okay.
15.
So Aplos very easily like just hops up, grabs onto a branch, and gets up into the tree. And you can see the cat like looks at you, and its tail gets real bushy, and it starts to like backtrack to like the edge of the branch, such that it's like almost in danger of like falling backwards and out of the tree.
Oh, Miss Bryn, underneath, just in case.
All right. Fine. And she grabs her basket full of food and kind of does the thing.
Little like safety trampoline with
Yeah, to like try to catch the cat. So, okay.
Come on. Good.
All right, give me a animal handling check.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
You
Yep.
do the little coaxing, and it hisses.
High elf, by the way, not a wood elf. High elf.
And as it hisses, it kind of like lunges a little bit, and the tree kind of like tilts a bit, and the thing like starts to fall. Bryn, make a let's say acrobatics check to try to grab it as it falls.
10.
Okay. As you go to like try to grab it with the basket, the cat like it like half the cat like hits your basket, and so like it like dunk. You definitely like break its fall, but like it thwops its head on the basket and then falls very ungracefully onto the ground, and kind of like runs off. And you notice that you're getting very little reaction from Miriam Caldwell.
She watching us?
She's not. She seems to be like looking at the backside of the tree.
Miss Caldwell, your cat is well, Miss Caldwell? I'm kind of like jumping to get her attention.
And she's just like not available.
It's Lady Caldwell.
Oplos,
Oh,
trying to get his attention.
I'll be down in just a moment. Miss Evangeline, did Lady Caldwell get something on her? Is she having a bit of a reaction?
I think you're muted.
Oh, mute.
Still muted.
Nope, still.
Now?
Yep.
Hey.
All right, okay, my butt. and not that I saw, although, to be honest, I was paying more attention to my cart than this cat situation. But I'll go over there and see.
Evangeline, make a insight check.
Okay.
And you hear like a whomp in the background as it comes out of the tree.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. I was just walking over it.
10. You're having a hard time reading her body language or what her facial expression is saying to you. She just looks like stark white, but she kind of looked that way when she approached your cart. She's just kind of like unresponsive.
Can we see anything else in the tree?
No. Looks fairly normal. Give me a perception check, though.
Okay.
No, it looks pretty ordinary, the way you would expect. And then you can see she starts to like raise her finger, and she's pointing over back towards your stall, Evangeline.
All right. And I look over there. Do I see anything?
Give me another perception check. And this could be an advantage because she's kind of pointing something out to you.
All right. Well.
Our advantages are really paying off.
I'm gonna make this hard on you, Alex.
Yeah, you're like squinting. You're not quite
see
seeing
anything.
what she's looking at.
Oh.
And it is at this moment that Lorum, you arrive on the. You knew where their cart or where the stall usually is, and you were predicted right. And you can see at the tree there's quite the gathering. Evangeline, Aplos, Bryn, and this Miriam Caldwell is there. And the rest of you see Lorum, who you're familiar with, and a member of the Flaming Fist is with him.
Ho there. What do we have here? Lively this morning.
It seems that Lady Caldwell has had some sort of episode and is a bit unresponsive.
She says, "It's a body."
Oh, great.
I turn and look to where she's pointing.
Okay, make a
As do
perception
I.
check at advantage. Any of you that would like to try to get a 12.
Crossed everyone.
So-
I'll let Lauren do it first.
I got one.
Woo! Someone see something.
Success. So a number of you see that she is pointing over by that cart, or not the cart, the stall. Sorry, the stall. And there's definitely like a pair of boots that are like that you can see behind the stall.
And that's the stall that Evangeline was going
My
to take?
stall?
Or the
Yes.
one
Yeah.
opposite?
The one that Aplos had been holding for Evangeline. And the flaming fist looks over there and he says, "Oh, well, this is interesting. Let's go take a closer look, shall we?" And he kind of strides over there. You can see he's excited. There's some action here, and he's going to be the one to get to the bottom of it. So he walks over there and he starts like going, yes.
Do I recognize the boots? I'm still back with everyone else, but do those boots look familiar?
Make me. What do I want it to be? Let's say an insight check.
$18.
You have a feeling that they are the dusty old boots of the bailiff of the Wide.
Missing indeed. Oh dear.
Oh no.
What is it?
Aplos, will you come with me?
Of course.
And I start walking over, leaving the two ladies behind.
Oh. You could see Niles is like looking your crew all over, and he says, "Now, who has this cart here? Who's the vendor here?"
I am.
You are.
Yes.
Okay. Well, standard protocol. I'm going to start with the most obvious solution first. Can I turn out your pockets? Let's see that pack of yours.
My pockets. Do you know who I am?
Yes. No.
I'm not some common thief. This is absurd. Listen, if Lady Caldwell was not in such a state she could vouch for my reputation. Turn out my pockets. What are you even searching for?
I don't know. And I
Of course you
do
don't.
want to find out, though.
Captain, if you excuse me here.
Yes.
You notice that Evangeline here are a good and most trustworthy merchant of fine wares. Is the
Thank you.
only one here that has a stall, which means they were the only person to have been given a stall, and the best one in
Exactly.
the wide.
Exactly. The last people to have seen him alive.
But why? What motive? What motive, pray tell, would Evangeline have for killing someone who just gave them the best spot?
Maybe they killed him to get the best spot. That's my guess.
I always have the best spot.
Aplos was actually probably the one to meet with the bailiff. Evangeline just showed up. You know,
That is true.
you're not here in the wide very often, so I don't. I don't.
This look. This isn't open to negotiation. Turn out your bag. Here, hand it over. If you're so innocent, you got nothing to worry about.
You're asking a lady to turn out her bag.
Yeah.
This does
For
seem
what,
like
for what search? You don't even know what you're looking for, as you said. And, as my friend here said, my associate Aplos always gets me this stall. He does a wonderful job, and the only thing he's guilty of is making some delicious croissants that the bailiff just adores.
You know,
If
you
must know.
protest a lot. You know, I could throw you in the clink for just mouthing off to me.
With what warrant?
I don't need a warrant. I'm an officer of the Flaming Fist.
I kind of like lean over to Evangeline. I think you might as well just do what he says, and he'll leave us alone.
So I very begrudgingly look at him, and I open up my purse and say, "See, there's nothing in here of any import to you."
He
Are you
starts
happy
looking
now?
in, and he starts digging around, and he pulls out a dagger that is dripping wet with blood. Uh-huh.
Evangeline?
It's not mine!
It's not yours?
I don't even... No! Look at it! It is shoddy! Would I have such a grotesque dagger? Have you seen the workmanship?
Well, it definitely cut someone.
Well, I'm sure it did, but it was not me. It was placed there, obviously.
Okay.
Can Bryn inspect while he was inspecting the bag to see if he was doing any shenanigans there?
Who, the guard?
Yeah, the captain.
Make a perception check.
She doesn't trust these people. Oh, sorry, that was an advantage somehow. The lower number was a 10. So.
Just roll it again, because I don't have a way to know which one was the first one.
How do I? Okay, let's try this again. Perception. There we go.
Okay. No, he's not being. He's pretty clumsy as he's like digging around in there. He's just like, throw some stuff off out of the purse so he can get a better view, and then he like pulled it out.
Oh.
And I think it's one of 2 daggers, Evangeline, right? That's in your bag.
Yeah, so I have in my bag, I have, yes, 2 daggers. But neither of them were bloody.
Well, this one is.
Well, it's someone...
Another counterpoint here. That's still dripping. We just arrived, granted, but I'm pretty sure all of you did not see her just put that in there, because that's dripping.
Well.
Oh yes, and Bailiff Jedry has been missing for a bit. If you notice the disturbance, it's been a good minute.
He looks down at the body, and he says, "Well, it looks like he's still bleeding here. It's still pooling. See?
Is there still a chance for him?"
Well,
And he'll rush over and is he?
Yeah, I will do the
Lay
same.
on
Is he
hands
still
of
alive?
Make a medicine check.
Well, you see, I more rely on faith to heal than.
That's a pretty strong faith.
I'm sorry, I might have misunderstood what you were trying to do. Are you just doing a lay of hands and seeing what happens?
So it's more of a, is he alive, and then lay on hands.
Okay,
Like,
so that's what
I will try to channel a point into him.
Okay, that's what the medicine
Either way.
check is. He is not breathing. He's dead.
No.
But with an 18, you guess that he probably died about maybe like an hour ago.
Ah, yes. As you can see by the way that he is dead, it looks to have been about an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I have witnesses all throughout this walk who have seen me coming not more than 10 minutes ago.
Well, this is all a lot to consider, and I'd rather not. I'm gonna have to take you all in. Well, her. I'm gonna have to take you in.
You're taking me in?
Absolutely.
Obviously, someone has planted this on me. You realize that, right?
It seems like the obvious answer is you've got a murder weapon in your bag. That doesn't look so good.
And I've been, sitting here with all of you stabbing him repeatedly? It's blood's dripping off of it.
Well, it looks like
You
maybe
have
just
been
twice.
with me. I don't know how many times he's been stabbed. I'm not looking at the man, but I am telling
Looks
you
like
that
twice.
you have been with me. I have not been stabbing him in your presence. So the blood dripping off the knife seems a bit fantastical.
Then you know who did it, though. You're hiding. You're covering for somebody.
Who would I cover for? What possible motive do I have?
Maybe it was you. And he points at Aplos.
Oh, no, I don't think it was.
With all due respect, Aplos, have you looked at this child? Does he look capable of murder?
Well, I do have a sword. I suppose I am.
No, Aplos, put that down.
No, it's
Careful now, you'll scuff it.
Hey, Laurel.
Well, that's true. It's expensive to get it polished. But,
These the people that you were going to recommend to me?
Yes.
Really?
Because they are trustworthy.
Oh, yes.
Obviously,
Exceedingly.
there's only more evidence that this has been planted. In fact, if someone was trying to work against you and prevent you from doing whatever task you were doing, would they not want to implicate the very people who would be able to accomplish it for you?
I didn't quite catch all that, but
Someone might be screwing you over, Captain, by doing this.
me? I certainly don't have anything to do with this.
No, but you were about to gather people for something.
Oh, yes. he
What
was
if they're
about
trying to
hire us.
prevent you from doing that? What if they're trying to make you look bad to your superiors?
Well, look,
Diabolical.
that's neither here nor there. I've always looked bad to my superiors.
Well, I can't argue with that now, can I, Captain?
Look, this is beyond my pay scale. I'm gonna have to take you into to the real guy in charge.
Please get us to someone a little bit more competent.
Well, I will. You're gonna have to follow me.
Oh,
Wait,
what about a poor bailiff Jedry?
Well, he looks like he's dead, and
But we should.
we'll have to send someone for him, I suppose. What's this? And he scoops down, and you see he grabs there's like a kind of like a pad folio kind of thing there with some parchment in it and a big quill pen, and he opens it up.
You shouldn't read his ledger.
Well, it might be it has
he's
a
not-
clue.
Oh, yes, but that seems rude.
This is okay, and he's like
It's
flipping
also
through it.
tampering with evidence.
I'm not tampering. I'm the law here.
But you're touching it, that's tampering.
I'm reading it.
You're touching it, which by
Well-
definition is tampering.
Well,
Look, I-
could we just maybe cover him? Close his eyes, coins, the things you do. You do things, right?
Yes. Go ahead. I'm gonna read through this here.
I'm gonna
I'll
look
give
around.
you the supplies to do that.
Is there any other member of the Watch or Flaming Fist? Is it just Captain Niles within eyesight the whole wide?
Typically the Flaming Fists don't actually patrol up here. Usually it's the Watch, and Jedrin would have been the head of the Watch.
The Watch.
Yeah.
Do I know of, having patrolled the Wide many times, do I know of anyone who would be able to keep people away from this general area so as not to cause a panic with the crowd that's already angry?
I mean, not really. I mean, this is the guy. This would have been the guy to like close off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you could go back and ask
Burr.
Burr, but he's probably in no condition to deal with this. He couldn't handle just like the regular business of the day. So,
Chances with the watch or with the flaming sword.
Well then, we could always take him too.
I mean, this is Boulder's Gate after all. Don't they have some sort of way everything cleaned up, especially up in the supper city?
Oh, the heavy cleaning is usually done in the lower city.
Not many stabbings here.
Oh, right.
Evangeline, how about we, you have your cart, yes?
Yes, I do have
I-
my cart.
I propose we take the ex-bailiff with us, because the last thing we want to do is cause panic inside the city when there's already panic outside.
I can understand that train of thought. I just ask that our friend here watches how this is done, because if we do take the bailiff, then my cart will be contaminated, and I want to make sure this won't further implicate me in this obvious setup.
Oh, don't worry about contamination. And I wave my hand and cast prestidigitation, and I kind of clean up the bailiff's clothes.
Yeah.
I'll do that every few
the greater concern probably is the heavy amount of blood and gore that is kind of seeped into like the dirt underneath him, and so prestidigitation kind of deals with that and cleans up the stain. And the bailiff is reading. He's like, I overheard about 75% of that plan, and what I heard, I liked. Yes, let's load him up in the cart. We'll take him with us to go see Zaj.
All right.
I will help as much as I can with getting the bailiff into the cart.
So you look over, and the bailiff at this point's kind of got like a little briar surrounded him and little flowers placed around. Then he's like, "Oh, we're moving him," and then cloak, roll him up.
Niles very like kind of half-heartedly helps out like with his free hand as he's reading. He's like, "Yeah, interesting, very interesting." And he's
Niles,
like, "Look,
do you know how to read?"
of course I know how to read. You know, you're real close to not getting this contract, even if you weren't all murderers and thugs."
Whoa. I don't think any of us are. I mean, the only
I
suspicious
think at
person
least one
was-
of you is.
Okay.
He looks at Evangeline
I will-
real hard.
How is Lady Coldweather right now?
She has kind of like backed away. Eventually, her cat has returned to her and is kind of like, you know, doing that. I now I want attention kind of thing at her ankles, and she's not paying attention. She's like, she's just a looky-loo on this whole thing
no.
that is happening. But Niles says, "Now, Aplos, how do you explain this?" And he throws the parchment in your face, and you can see your name. It's like today's date, and then your name is assigned to this. You know, he's got some kind of like code for all the stalls. Like this is N51, and has your name / Evangeline there. And then there's like a little skull and crossbones kind of thing that he is like etched in the corner, like the margin.
Oh, well, that's my name, and that's Miss Evangeline's name, and that's the spot that we were assigned to.
What's this little marking here? And he's like looking at it and he's like reading it. Coffee and snack! Exclamation
Oh, yes.
mark. And then skull and crossbones.
I suppose he didn't like the snack this time.
Excuse me, Captain Breakbone.
Looks like everyone else has like money values. This one says 15 gold. This one says 20 gold. Yours
Captain
says
Breakbone,
coffee
my-
and baguette.
Might I see that, please?
No, go ahead.
I'm going to flip through it, and I'm going to take like a couple minutes to kind of flip through previous entries and compare handwriting and brushstrokes and try and see if that skull and crossbones was even done in the same ink, in the same penmanship.
Okay. We had discussed you can have advantage on this roll. Do you have a proficiency in a kit or something? Or this is just...
Yeah, I have a calligraphy kit.
Okay, so... you can have advantage on this roll, and it'll be intelligence plus your proficiency.
Is the miscellaneous box where I can add extra bonuses? Let's find out. Intelligence. Okay, so that is going to be +3, so 14.
For the most part, it looks like you could definitely tell it's the same handwriting. It's not necessarily the same ink. But this log seems to go back quite a few days, so it wouldn't be unreasonable that it was different ink on different days.
does the skull and crossbones specifically look like it was done with the same like type of brushstroke? Does it look comparatively?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that and I'm going to kind of stand next to the captain. As you can see here, and I'll flip back through a couple of pages, that looks like that was doodled by Jed.
Right.
So why would Jed put a skull and crossbones for his own murder? I think we should.
Maybe he didn't like Aplos so much, and maybe there's some kind of feud here. I don't know.
Why don't we take this in to just take this into the precinct? Yeah.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. I'm almost kind of bored thinking about this case. I just like. You know, I like.
How about you go drop us off, and you can go.
I'll drop you off, and then I can.
People up.
That's what I'm into. Yes.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. So you all kind of work together to load up the body into. And Evangeline, of course, is probably mortified to see this body amidst all of her jewelry and the things that she sells.
Exceedingly. Yes, I've tried to push it all as much to the side as I can, and I'm just eyeing his body with utter distaste through this whole process.
So
Aplos is just like, I didn't realize he appreciated the coffee and the bagels so much. He had like gold in the other column.
15 gold, gracious!
Wow. I suppose, good nature does get its own reward.
Very proud of you, Aplos. You have done exceedingly well for me. But you didn't kill him.
Okay, so I've got the image up here. So you start to leave the wide with Niles Breakbone, and I'll get a little token out there. So this big wide area over here, that's the wide, this big open air.
The wide open area?
Yes. And so you start to make your way through the streets here, down, and you pass through a gate, and you get taken down into the lower city, right near Basilisk Gate. There are, I believe, 9 gates throughout Baldur's Gate that lead either up into the upper city, down into the lower city, or out into the countryside or the outer city. And as Niles takes you through the streets of the lower city, you can start to see a heavier presence of Flaming Fist the closer that you get to Basilisk Gate. Through the streets, you can see Flaming Fists are kind of randomly, patrols of 3 to 4 are randomly stopping people and kind of like just intimidating them, shouting at them, asking them questions, and it's happening so sporadically that the people that they're interrogating kind of are just not making sense as they're responding to their demands and their inquiries. And as you get to the gate, you can see that along the ramparts and the watchtowers that flank the tall wooden doors that would lead out to the road that would head out east. There are Flaming Fists up there with seems like their longbows trained on something on the other side. And as you are approaching the gate, you notice that there's somebody that looks kind of like a noble with a small entourage of people with him. You see him slip some coin to one of the Flaming Fist guards there, and the guard kind of pockets that and looks up at the towers and gives them kind of a signal. And the gates kind of open. And as they open, you see there's kind of like all these hands are kind of like popping in. And you can see a horde of people out there. And as they're trying to push through, this mob is like trying to push through the gate. One of the Flaming Fists goes over and like whaps his club on the fingers of one, and you can see that person kind of recoil. The people up, the guards, the Flaming Fists up in the towers, one of them like lets an arrow down at the crowd down below that you can't see beyond the wall. And you hear like a yell, and they're shouting commands like, "Move away from the gate! Move away from the gate!" And you see this nobleman, seems that he's bribed his way out of the city. And the Flaming Fists seem to be providing some degree of cover and security to let him safely leave. And Niles kind of chuckles to himself.
Well,
This is ridiculous.
There are dozens... Go ahead.
Captain, if you don't mind, can you remind me why we're heading towards the lower city in the first place? I mean, shouldn't a crime that takes place in the upper city be tried in the upper city?
There are more pressing matters in this murder case. I am just to deliver you to Zaj.
Oh, so this
Their
is
fate is in his hands now.
What's the matter, Gold Shoulder? A little afraid to rub shoulders with a...
Oh, no, not at all. I'm just more concerned that we're not doing anything regarding the bailiff, are we? We're going to see the contractor, right? The contractee, I should say.
And as you're asking your question, Breakbone is like snapping his fingers, and you can see a number of Flaming Fists are coming over, and they all like draw their weapons and are like surrounding you. There's like 6 of them, and they're just kind of watching you with like their weapons ready. And you see Niles break away from your group, and he goes to talk to another man that has the stripes, I guess, on his uniform that suggests he's the head honcho. He's a man, very imposing, tall man, probably 6'5", long black hair, kind of greasy looking, and he's got like a leather eye patch. And he bears a number of scars that show that he's been through the ringer himself quite a few times. But he's apparently in a position of power, and they have a small conversation. And
Can I recognize the rank on his uniform from the stripes?
Yeah, he is a commander. And he starts to approach your party. And Niles goes away. Like, he walks away from your group. It seems that he's been relieved of his duty in this matter, and this man, who you presume is Commander Zaj, approaches. And he says, "Murder, huh?"
Oh, good morning, Commander Zaj. I'm sure we could have met under more pleasant circumstances. Murder? No. The unfortunate finding of a body, yes.
Well, at the very least, you've been accused of murder. And from the looks of you, I'm guessing you don't have a lot of money to pay for representation. Which probably means you're going to be stewing for quite some time.
Excuse me, Commander. I think at the very least, I have not been accused of... So, if you'll just let me go, I think this is all a big misunderstanding, and yeah, I think Captain Bakebore was just being overzealous in his duties. In fact, he was the one who found the body. Isn't that right?
Look, doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't concern me, but dealing with my problems could prove fruitful to those of you that are in some nebulous issues with the law. And he looks at you, Bren, and he says, and you look like you could use some coin in your purse, so why don't you hear me out?
Why, of course. What can we do for you, Commander?
And he kind of like looks over his shoulder at the gate, and he says, This refugee crisis, it stoked fears that Baldur's Gate might suffer the same fate as Elturel. You've heard of that, right? Nothing exists of it anymore, it's just a hole in the ground.
So I've heard. I don't know if I believe the rumors.
I don't think a bunch of refugees were the cause of it.
No, certainly not, but their presence here, they've definitely stoked fears. And it's not just the refugees. Our own Grand Duke, Alder Ravengard, was there on a diplomatic mission. He goes out, that's not common. He goes out on a mission like that, and then suddenly this happens. Do you believe in coincidences like that? I don't.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't
The
believe in
knights-
coincidences like a body being discovered next to this lot either. But I won't ask questions. Just
Like
pointing
I
it out.
said, I don't care. There's many much bigger things in play here. Other murders. It's happening everywhere. Something's going on, and I need more help. And so we're invoking our powers in times of crisis to recruit. Lorem, you say that these lot, they work for you, they work for your adventuring company. Is that right?
Why, yes. Yes, they do.
Good. So, you are conscripted to help us. I've got too many people trying to deal with all this crazy madness out there in the outer city. I don't have enough extra hands to investigate what is going on. So, you're going to help us. Because the town, the city, it's being plagued by followers of the Dead Three. Bane, Ball, and Merkel. I thought we got them. I thought we dealt with them. I thought it was over, but it appears we were wrong. The purveyors of fear and death are taking advantage of this current crisis, and they're committing murder, more so on a larger scale than we've seen in years. You four are going to be my appointed deputies in this matter. Take a look into this. Find out why. Who's in charge of it, and put an end to it. I can pay you. If you do what I say, follow my orders, I'll see to it that each of you receives 200 gold pieces. And, as my appointed deputies, you'll not have to worry about any collateral damage that might come along with your investigation. Or, you could stew in a cell for this incident that you had, and let the slow wheels of justice play out.
I'll tell you this, Commander. I like where this is going. But I would like to add one point to the terms here. That gold is more than gracious. But should we succeed in finding who is responsible for this, I would also ask that for all future requests you work exclusively through Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern. Because if we can succeed in this, surely we can succeed in any other matters you might present.
You should be so lucky that we allow a guild, an unlicensed guild like yours, to exist within the city walls. So I think not having the hammer of justice fall upon your illicit activities is more than reasonable.
We'll accept your offer, Commander.
Good. I don't have much in terms of leads for you, but a few blocks from here, the Elf Song Tavern, there is a woman that we have known to buy tips off of. Her name is Tarina. She hangs out there. She gathers rumors, and she's got ties to the guild. That group that controls much of the crime that happens in the city. But she plays for both sides. We're willing to deal with her often. If you go there, tell her that you work for me. Say my name. You might get something from her. You might get a lead. She might know something about the Dead Three and what their followers are up to.
That we can do. Any other possible avenues? Do you have a report of all the previous murders that have been happening within the lower city and the upper city?
Not in a form that's going to be helpful to you. There's no pattern that we can discern. It's happening all over. No one is seemingly safe, even in the upper city, where we normally don't see this kind of barbarism. People are reporting turning up dead, being found in fountains and pools.
Would it be possible to get a map with all the instances marked nonetheless? If we encounter any more, we might discover a pattern as we go.
You're not listening to me. This is happening so widespread, we don't have time to catalog all of that.
Very well. All right.
Assuming they do normally. Kind of say under my breath.
If he heard you, he ignores the comment.
All right, well, to the Elf Song Tavern then. I hold my hand out as an offer to shake on the deal.
And he gives you a pretty firm grip, and then he turns away. Having given you this contract, he goes to tend to all the craziness that's happening by the gate. And the retinue of Flaming Fist guards that were watching you, they all withdraw, and they follow their commander.
I turn around to the rest of the group. Well, I should say welcome to Gold Shoulder Adventure Consulting and Concern. If you weren't expecting to have a second job now, well, congratulations, you do.
You have got to be kidding me. We're hired to discover who's responsible for murders in Baldur's Gate. Do you know how many murders go on in this?
And investigating the mystery behind the disappearance of the Grand Duke. Yes. Obviously, we're meant to be cannon fodder, but I believe we could attempt to do more than that.
This doesn't sound ridiculous to anyone else?
I'm thinking that we were targeted to be part of this. Maybe not you, no offense, but the fact that someone was murdered, someone very powerful was murdered next to my cart, speaks that they want me involved in this particularly. I'm not sure that's a good thing for any of us.
Well, no disrespect, but I barely know you. For all I know, you could have committed this murder. And I think it's best if we try not to connect ourselves too much to what's going on. I'm from the lower city, and a lot goes down around here, and it's only going to get worse.
Oh, but Miss Brent, think of the opportunity. 200 gold. Think of how much good you could do with that. We've had to work quite hard for that. And, Miss Evangeline, I am sorry. I know you do tend to turn a bit more than that, but I do hope it won't be too much trouble for you.
No, it's no trouble. There's no business going on up there anyways right now with all the chaos. But, well, let's just move forward. Bryn, do you know this Elf Song Tavern? Is this some place that you've been before?
I mean, DM?
Oh, Miss Bryn, do you remember that place I took you that had the spirit that sang?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's the one. That's the Elf Song Tavern.
Oh, the one that was the one that was singing in that strange language I don't know.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Lovely.
Yes.
I mean,
I remember it.
If you don't mind me interjecting here, first things first, we have a body in our cart. And that's not something we should be traveling around with. So, does anybody know of any temple
My cart.
that we could drop poor bailiff off at for proper burial preparations?
I would think the watch would want him back, which, if we go this way then that way, we could probably deposit him before going to the Elf Song Tower.
I would suggest doing that because I do not like the idea of traveling around with a body.
Not a fan of it either.
So, you are heading towards
The nearest watch.
yeah, so you'd be kind of like heading back up to the upper city.
Unless there's somewhere nearby that like Bryn may know where they drop off bodies.
Bodies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dump them, you know.
Well, like
there's totally like
no,
So
like,
like a-
yeah. I mean,
like
there's totally
unidentified bodies, and I'm sure
So,
the flaming
body.
fist. The flaming fist probably has somewhere where they're like, if you're missing someone, you can come here to possibly identify bodies. I don't know.
I mean, we might also want to give Evangeline an opportunity to not be carrying around her wares. So,
Yes, somewhere that I can. I mean, presumably I have a place where I store this ordinarily, so we could swing by that and cling the scent of death off of it first. Useful.
yeah.
they've all been
There
upgraded to bloodstones.
are a number of options. You could take it back to the watch. You could take it to there's a number of temples around the city that also have graveyards that would perform the proper rites and take care of it for you. You could give it to the Flaming Fist, and they would probably promptly dump it somewhere outside the walls of the city.
I
Up
would
to
wanna,
you.
I would want to go to what I know, a secondary member of the watch, like who the bailiff would report to.
That would be like someone pretty high up, and probably not someone that you'd be getting in touch with, at your convenience.
Is there like
You could take him back to Burr to deal with.
We'll give that man a heart attack.
Pass off.
Is
What
there
a day he's having.
Is there like a precinct that the bailiff reports to?
Yeah, I mean, like you could go you could go to the upper city and make contact with the watch there.
Yeah, I want to do it the right way.
Or do we
When
know?
there's-
his god, like who he worships? Have we ever had any conversations? Maybe Aplos has talked to them over coffee. Know who he might wish to be deposited with?
Bailiff Jedrin probably didn't strike you as like a very devout religious man. He was kind of a bullshitter. He was kind of the kind of guy that you probably like. Oh, I think we lost somebody.
Casey.
Casey. He blipped.
I told him he cursed himself.
Yeah.
I'll just ring him until he comes back so I can keep the frame up. But he's like the kind of guy that like seemed all right like while you're talking to him, and like you kind of like him for like 15-20 minutes, but then the more you get to know him, you realize how self-serving he is. So he's that kind of guy. But he's a guy that you have to deal with. You had to deal with to make some coin up there.
So the watch seems reasonable then. Some outpost, I think.
There is, probably some small outposts throughout the upper city. There's also the Citadel as like the head place for the watch.
I'm going to look out for an outpost. And when we get there, I want to look for like the person who works the desk, who may or may not be an intern.
Yeah, so you arrive like at the corner. There's like this strange like intersection where it's like 5 roads converging, and at like the tiny little like triangular like sliver of that intersection, there's this oddly shaped little building that's kind of leaning a little bit. It looks like it's way overdue for maintenance and some deferred cost kinds of repairs. And you walk in and there's a small wobbly desk, and there is a half-elven man there with kind of orangish reddish hair who just looks bored out of his mind. He's like reading some kind of book.
I walk in and step up to the desk. Excuse me, sir?
Yeah. What do you want?
So I want to break this to you as lightly as possible, but we have... my compatriots that are outside, in conjunction with Captain Breakbone of the Flaming Fist, have unfortunately found Bailiff Jed deceased.
Yeah?
Just wanted to let you know, we have his body outside, trying to keep it away from the public to not cause panic, because the Wide is the last place that we want to cause panic in the upper city. Rumors spread.
Okay. Hold on. You see him, like, he opens up like a drawer and he's like flipping through some files, and he pulls out a piece of parchment. Here it is. And he provides you with it's a piece of parchment, like it's written in ink at the top. It says "Lost and Found."
I believe you didn't understand. Bailiff Jedrin Hiller is dead. We found his body.
Yeah, you found it. Just report it right. And he like points at like there's a line to add a description. He says, right there. We'll get him right back to the proper.
A person is dead who gets paid more than you do.
Gold Shoulder, I don't think you understand exactly how things work around here in the lower cities.
Well, this is the upper city.
I thought we were in the lower city. Are we in the upper city now? Sorry.
I think you went to the upper city to.
Sorry, ignore what I
drop
just
him
said.
off, but you're dropping him off at like a little
Slow
outpost, kind of a very slow. It's there's a lot of action that happens in this particular station.
Gotcha.
You get in a sense.
All right. Ignore my comment.
You know what? I think I think I will try and find the person myself. Thank you very much for your time.
Whatever.
And I will just turn around and walk around. Step outside.
Picks up his book and continues to read.
Well, the gentleman in there thought when wanted me to fill out a lost and found form for a body, so I feel like we should go to the Citadel. Maybe there's some more competent people there.
We can do that. I just worry that driving up to the Citadel, body in tow, might make a bit of a ruckus.
Well, we have to do something about him.
And Aplos kind of has him like, oh, we're gonna turn around.
Aplos, you dear boy.
Back in the cart.
Maybe we could put him here and then go investigate else. Do we need him?
No, we're trying to get rid of him, actually.
Why don't we just leave him here then? Aplos has the right idea.
Oh, gracious.
I feel this is less dignified than he really deserves. He was a wonderful fellow. Really liked my coffee, apparently.
It's delicious coffee, but...
Aplos, he's dead. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think there should be some memory of his enjoyment of chicory in his coffee. It was just very few appreciate that anymore. And
it's true. It's a slight dirt taste. But
so here or back in the cart?
Here, I think. I mean, maybe not
let's
on the
just,
steps. But you can bury him. Is there like the grounds or something?
Well, I think they do that.
Do they?
I'm fairly certain that digging in a cemetery with a body is frowned upon, unless you're in that guild.
Well, the thing is, though, that they didn't seem too keen on taking ownership of.
That was that one individual. I don't think that's the watch as a whole, but we can certainly make it this individual's problem.
Thank you.
So, yes, in.
Yes, in.
Apple carries him in and lays him in the appropriate body spot.
On second thought, I will take that form.
Oh,
you can see. So you guys have come in, and it's like bone dead quiet in there, and you can tell like the guy had just put the form away, and as you like come in, he's like, ugh. Like it's so much work. So he pulls the form back out and like very with attitude like slams it down on the desk and hands you a pen. Make up your mind, man.
I deeply apologize for the indecision, and I just start filling out the form.
He
Aplos,
says,
do you just come in with the body?
and like they're getting like no reaction from the guy. He's just like, put him right here, I guess.
I fill out the form flawlessly.
Yeah, I imagine like Bryn just like grabs it like and then just like puts it on the wall, pats it for Aplos to put it there, and then she just is like so done with this.
Just did the book did his journal end up back on his person?
The ledger, no, Niles took it.
Okay.
Evidence. As well as one of your daggers, Evangeline. Evangeline.
Yeah. Okay.
So you are down one dagger.
I'm down one dagger. Well, I'll put that in.
I fill out the form and I turn it in.
Okay. As you're filling out the form, the rather young-looking half-elf goes back to reading his book and seems relatively unconcerned. You fill out the form. He grabs it from you. He opens up a different drawer and like files it away in there, and goes back to reading.
Well, after living in Baldur's Gate for so long, I shouldn't be surprised. On our way.
He's like, and as you make your comment and you walk away, he's like, "You think you're like the first person to bring a dead body in here?"
No, I just figured that you would be aware enough of your job to recognize the name.
It's bound to happen sometime.
I hate that you're right. Good day.
Well,
And you head back out into the street.
Evangeline, shall we head to your abode to drop off your wares?
yes, I think that would be, best. And I may have something in here that we could use for our further journey. We might have some weapons or something. I don't know. We can figure something out. So yeah, we'll go to my house.
I will use prestidigitation to clean up whatever mess might have been left behind in the cart.
I appreciate that greatly.
You
And
know,
if anything got on Aplos, I'll clean them off too.
He
seems
actually does
fair.
that himself as he walks along. He's like, "Paft, paft, paft." And then he's like, apple cinnamon smell. Paff.
It really covers the desk. It's good.
It's like that spray that they have for like when you're a realtor and you're trying to show a house to make it smell like cookies.
Yeah.
There's no cookies. All right, so you stop off at Evangeline's home, which is probably in the lower city, and you make your way. Presumably, you want to follow this lead that Zaj gave you to head to the Elf Song Tavern, which let me boot up the map here. But it is as Aplos described. This is a place that is well known. It gets its name from the fact that there is this elven spirit that sings a song kind of randomly. And patrons of this bar often, there's always a sizable contingent that come here just hoping that they're going to hear this song. They kind of sit around waiting for it. And so you make your way there, and other than this bit of, I guess, this quirk of the bar, there's nothing really that notable about it. It's really no different than any of the other taverns in Baldur's Gate, which is maybe unfortunate because this is the kind of place that may be known for stabbings and for having your pocket picked. Really, there's no place in Baldur's Gate other than maybe... Well, there really are no taverns in the upper city, so pretty much you could expect this just about anywhere you go. Any bar that is claiming otherwise is probably taking you for a ride in their own right. So you make your way here, and feel free. I suppose we could drop some tokens out here, maybe just to kind of represent where people are at. And look at that, they've got it all sized out for us.
Did you share that map? I didn't see it come up yet.
I don't think I
sorry,
have that.
I probably haven't. Hopefully it's popping
There
up
we go.
now.
Ooh.
Hey.
So you make your way inside the Elf Song Tavern, and by this point, with all of your adventures, you started out very early in the morning. But probably by this point, with all the traveling to the Basilisk Gate, and then running up to the upper city to deal with the body, and then going to Evangeline's place, it's probably like early evening, like 4 p.m. ish. So there's there's a pretty good crowd inside the tavern as you are approaching and walking through its wooden doors. There is a heavy scent of tobacco smoke in the air, and you can see kind of a cloudy haze that you're walking through. But as you push your way through the tap room, you can see there's quite a few people here. There's probably at least a dozen right here in the main tap room, and Alan Alith is a human male of about Pretty old. He's probably in his mid-70s. Pretty old for a human on the Sword Coast, and he's got kind of a very short, very well-trimmed, grayish white mustache. He's kind of got a hunched-over kind of demeanor, but he's still at it. He's still slinging drinks there at the bar, and as you all approach, you can see him kind of like wave, seemingly at Aplos. And you make note there's a good variety of people here. Number of humans. So there's a half-orc that is laughing over in one of the side rooms and the side tables. Seems like they're playing maybe some kind of a dice game over there. You can see there's a halfling sitting in the corner at one of the tables with a snifter, kind of like analyzing the hue of the liquid in her glass. So there's just a lot of activity. What would you like to do as you're making your way into the tavern?
I'm immediately looking for a. What was were we told the race of the woman that we're looking for, Tarina?
Human.
Human? I'm looking for a human woman in a dark corner.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Bryn, I'm so glad that we get to share this adventure together. I do hope the spirit sings. That would just make it a proper adventure. I'm a little, sorry that Miss Evangeline got caught up in it. But could you excuse me for just a second? I need to have just a quick word with Mr. Allen over there.
All right.
So I got Lorem is looking for the person that you might be looking for. Aplos is going to go talk to Alan. Bryn, what would you like to do?
I think Bryn kind of feels a little out of her element right now, so she might just find a chair, an empty table, sit down.
Okay.
Maybe keep an eye on Aplos.
Sure. And Evangeline, what would you like to do in the tavern here?
I'm going to go up to the bar and order a drink.
I suppose I should probably put a mask on just so there's some element of mystery what's behind all these doors. And so let's start with Laurel. Make me a perception check.
Perception. $19.
You see, right over here, sitting with two other gentlemen. There is a woman there, who human woman. She's bald and no eyebrows, and they all seem to have quite a few mugs. These iron mugs or tin cups that are kind of crowding out their table. There's really nowhere to even throw an elbow down to lean down on the table. And they all have at least a mug in hand, and they seem to be doing like a cheers and drinking very heavily. She's with two gentlemen that have kind of like seafaring garb on. Like they.
Does it look like they're in the middle of a drinking contest?
Something like that. That's probably what it looks like from your vantage point.
I'm going to approach and take the side of the table that is not currently taken. And I'm just going to... Who looks like who's winning?
Hard to say. They all look wasted, out of their minds. And as you approach, the woman looks down at you and like gives a very audible belch right into your face, and you can smell not good. Almost makes you a few of your hairs on your very finely trimmed beard turn a little gray.
How charming. I hate to interrupt, but do one of you go by the name of Tarina?
Call me whatever you want to, there, feller. And she like starts out of her her finger is just poking at your face.
Yes, quite.
There is
lovely.
nothing sexy about this.
Yes. I'll go ahead and like gently take her hand and set it aside. I'm very flattered here for your attention. Unfortunately, we're here on business. I hope that's not interrupting anything you see out in the
She
the
starts to
commander.
like reach down for her purse, and she starts like pulling some coins out. She's counting them very slowly. 1, 2. What comes after 2?
3.
3. Thank you. 3.
You're welcome. Commander Zodge sent us.
Yep. Zodge. What was your name again?
My name doesn't matter at the moment. But I'll
Big
buy
smile.
you another.
Big smile.
I will buy you another drink if we can have a moment to talk alone.
Sure. And then she
what are they
slams
what are they
the
drinking?
drink. She said,
Is it just ale? They're just
you get the
drinking ale?
sense it's like the bottom of the barrel grog that they have here.
I will flag Aplos, or I will flag Evangeline as she's going to the bar. Get me a shot of whiskey.
So you have that interaction. Aplos, you approach the bar, and Evangeline is not far behind you, having just been kind of stopped momentarily to take a drink order. What would you like to do? As you approach, you can see Alan kind of signals hi, and you can tell that he is just maybe skipped a few of his customers at the bar to come say hi to you. And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna have there, Aplos?"
Oh, Mr. Allen, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I am going on a proper adventure, and I look to be coming into a little bit of extra money soon. So I wanted to make sure that we were okay.
Well, of course, Aplos said that's no problem. You take all the time you need to, but adventure?
Oh yes. You see, Mr. Lorem, and he sort of like does this, and it's possibly the most obvious, don't look over here but look over there kind of move. And Mr. Lorem has a business where he arranges for adventurers, and he's hired me, and it's fantastic. So far there's been a body, and there's been guards. There's all sorts of things going on.
Aplos, look, I like you a lot, and I know it's important to you to be debt free, and that's just between you and me, and that's fine. But if you're going to adventure with that one, I'm not sure that he is the best at picking out the right types. If he's trying to recruit that crew there, I would pass. That would be a hard pass on my part.
Oh, well, I mean, he seems quite good. He has these little cards. They seem very important. But yes, I'll be very, very careful.
Frankly, adventuring of any kind, Aplos, I would highly discourage you from that, because that's how, it's already hard enough to get to my years, Adventuring just really cuts down the life expectancy about 25, 30 years.
Oh, well,
I've seen so many people die over the years. I'd hate to see you be a casualty of adventuring.
Oh, well, I did spend some of that money on this chain, and it's quite good. Chink chink. See?
Oh, well, I guess if you're going to do it, you might as well be prepared.
Yes. Well, I think it'll be all right. And well, I mean, Bryn is along with as well. Miss Bryn, you remember?
Oh, yes, I remember her.
Yes.
And suddenly, as you're having this conversation, you start to hear that song upon the air. You hear the melodic, beautiful voice of that spirit that's known to haunt the place. And it's quite remarkable, because it's kind of a little bit, it's not the middle of the night and like this is bar call or anything. It's not that rowdy, but there's a number of people here that have clearly, over by Laurel, there's a group that's been here for many hours, but when this voice comes over the bar, it gets silent. It's like everyone has this reverence for this moment that you never know when it's going to happen. And so suddenly, anybody that understands Elvish would be able to understand these lyrics that cascade over the bar. And they are, "Oh, sing a song of Elturel, of water, woods, and hill. The sun dawns on her ruddy cliffs, and fields green and still. This land of long abiding joy, home of the strong and brave, renowned by all across the realms, and never once a slave. Oh, sing a song of Elturel, when foes are at her door, her fields torn by cloven feet, from some infernal shore. Arise, the mighty hell riders, take up your swift, keen swords, then charge into the hellish fray, and scatter devil hordes. Oh, sing a song of Elturel, and when the night does fall, sleep safe beneath companions' light, until the dawn does call. We're bound by mortal covenant that only ends with death, and so we'll sing of Elturel until our final breath." And as that song comes over the tavern, you can, Apples, you can make an insight check. As soon as the song ends, the life in the tavern continues, and people resume their mid-sentence conversations that they had ended as the song started.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Is this song always about Elturel? I don't know that I've heard that or noticed that before.
Make a history check.
$11?
You can see that Alan, he responds to your question and says, "No, I've never heard that before." I've never heard that song before.
Oh. Well,
In fact, I've never heard the lyrics to the Spirit song ever change.
Ah. I suppose. And just trying to think back through those lyrics. I didn't pull hopeful out of those myself personally. That sounded more like a mournful tune.
Well, there was the last bit about, that we could try to fight the hell beasts and that kind of thing. So that's
Evangeline?
somewhat helpful. Yes.
Do you speak Elvish?
I believe so, yes.
You can make a history check.
I do as well.
Okay.
Okay, you could do it.
Okay.
Although maybe I'm not going to count Lorem's because you were kind of involved in your.
All right.
Evangeline gets it. And this is about the time that Evangeline approaches the bar, and Aplos is having this conversation with Alan. So you're kind of like listening to what they're talking about, and Aplos is speaking about the meaning of the song, and what you are able to decipher from that song is specifically companion. The word companion. Sleep safe beneath companion's light. The city of Elturel to the east, the orb of light that had hovered above their city, it was called the Companion. It was believed to be some kind of a message or omen from the good aligned gods, maybe a combined boon from Tyr, Torm, Ilmater, and Lathander and the like. What did you have? An 18. 18 is pretty good. You also maybe remember that way back in the day, the reason that this thing even came to be was because there had been like a vampire lord that had held the city, and this is going back way back, but that was the reason for the Companion to come to the city, was to liberate them from the tyranny of this vampire lord that had taken over the city.
Okay.
So it was a protective thing against undead.
But undead specifically? Okay. Alright. And so I kind of come into the conversation and say, so this song then, it's about the history, right? I mean, it's talking about the demons and that of hell. It's surely talking about the vampires or something like that, something of old.
Oh,
Maybe?
Well, demons and vampires, they're a little different.
Well, yes, but I mean, poetic?
I
don't
suppose.
know. Or maybe demons to come, but that's rather distressing.
I mean, we are on an adventure, and
What concerns me was the cloven feet. That sounds not good.
oh, what? No, those would be more the fiends and the demons, those sorts. Vampires have normal feet, unless they're vampires of a creature that already had cloven feet. I read that.
Well, that could be something. But, well, it seems overly coincidental for the song to change right when we had this tragedy that occurred. And I fear that maybe it's in some way foretelling more tragedy to come. Which we should be aware of.
Oh yes. Oh,
What?
it is rather exciting, isn't it?
It is a little exciting.
Good.
So long as, we don't get killed.
Oh yes. Well, would you, we should probably get you some chain too.
Yes, I don't think this is much protection. So
No, but
I agree.
it is very stylish.
Well, thank you. I work hard, but yes, I agree. Some sort of protection for me, and I'm down. Perhaps I should reinforce my armory as well.
Alan just is kind of listening as he's like slinging some drinks, and he looks at you, Evangeline. He says, "Oh, nice girl like you. You're going to get involved in all this adventuring too." Oh,
Not necessarily by my will, but here I am.
it's a
Here I
shame.
am.
We lose too many of our youth to adventuring.
I appreciate you counting me amongst the youth. But do you have any words? Have you heard anything? Anyone come through the bar? Anyone say anything that might be of use?
Oh, a lot of people say a lot of things. What are you looking for?
Well, anything about an increase in murder and
Well, I've been hearing
death?
getting a lot of earfuls about that. Yeah, folks are worried, that there's been some rumors that maybe Ball is back, walking amongst us, inspiring all these murders.
Have you lost anyone that you know personally?
I'm quite old, and I've lost a lot of people over the years. I tend to keep to myself, but just here tonight, there's been a few murders here in the bar
Tonight, in this bar.
earlier.
Okay, and who are they? Anyone that's a regular?
Just patrons. There was a big fight that happened over there in the corner. I had to call for the watch.
Did you get any sense of what the fight was over?
It's common here. Something about game of chance. A lot of the people here, they love to play dice. Not uncommon that people have a few too many drinks. They put a little too much on the line, and then tempers run a little hot.
So nothing out of the ordinary. Just drunks being drunken.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a sense? Did you get a sense that anything has shifted amongst the clientele? Are they angrier or more, I don't know, aggressive than usual?
Well, make an insight check.
Oh, natural 20.
You can tell he's contemplating that pretty long and hard. And he says, I think you're onto something. It does feel different. It feels like there's a lot of just negative energy and aggression in the air.
Okay, that's
More so than normal.
more so than normal.
Things like this, they typically happen at night. And this is, we're not even towards coming up on dinner time.
So this big fight, then maybe at like 2 p.m. or something like that around lunch?
Yeah, that is different. Usually people have the common decency to wait until the later hours to commit such things. Our day staff isn't trained on this.
Understandably.
And Laurel, about this time, you've probably been asking a bunch of questions of this woman with no hair, and she's so drunk that in your mid conversation, she passes out at her table and just kind of boom, face down on the table. And
Do I get the sense that she was actually Tarina?
Make an insight check. I'll give you advantage. She was drunk. No,
Much better.
Absolutely not. There's no way that you could.
Totally random.
I feel like I should have asked that question sooner.
She couldn't remember what her name was. So it seems unlikely that the flaming fist would have pointed you towards this person.
Yeah. Well, she's too drunk. Well, they're all too drunk to remember anything that was just spoken, so I'm not worried about it. I will go and join everyone at the bar then, and if that whiskey has been poured, I will take it.
Alan charges you like 5 silver for your collective drinks that you purchase here. Assuming
As you're like
that
coming over, you hear like Aplos like, Miss Evangeline, that was very good. That was amazing.
I just said thank you.
Bryn, anything that you would like to do? You might be muted.
Also mute.
Yeah, that's right, I was. From Bryn's vantage point, I think she'd like to just look around, survey the scene, see if there's anyone watching her group.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Nope.
You notice no tells of anybody in the crowd. Yeah, well, it's a little smoky. It's kind of hard to see everybody. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of activity, but you don't notice anyone particularly like shooting daggers out of their eye sockets towards your group. No.
Okay. Then when she sees Lauren approach the bar, she'll also approach the bar then. Let's get everyone together. So, did we learn anything?
No, that was not Tarina.
Well,
You learned
I mean,
that?
that's still something.
Yeah.
You do this again for every person in the bar, and eventually,
Eventually we will find her.
or we'll know that she's not here. But the spirit. Did you hear the spirit song? It was about Elturel. And some demons and a fight.
Yes, I heard that. Something about Hell Riders? Anyone
Yes.
else concerned?
Oh, was it Hell Riders or the High Riders?
I think it was
Hell
Riders.
Riders.
Oh, hell!
Lorem, make a history check. Okay. The Hell Riders are the name of a group of paladins from Elturel.
The Hell Riders are the only good thing in that song. The Hell Riders are group of paladins.
Oh,
That's your lot, isn't it, Atlas?
oh yes. I think the highest rank of him is called the High Rider, and I thought he was, but I may have misheard. I wasn't paying entirely as much of attention as I should have.
I got the I wrote it down. If you.
I got a bit caught up in it.
But not poetic like she said, but just sing a song of Elturel. Then there's some water, some fields, that kind of thing. Abiding joy. Things seem good at this point. And then come the cloven feet, which not so good. And it says arise, Hell Riders. So maybe the Hell Riders are going to fight these cloven-footed creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says charge into hell. Less good, perhaps. And scatter the devil's horns. And then sleep beneath the companion's light. and then something about something ending in death. So,
From
Well,
the
this-
same history check, the Hell Riders, where their name came from was that the original group was said to have actually gone to the Nine Hells on some kind of a crusade against devils. Many of them did not return from that trek, but some did, and that was kind of like the foundation. This was long, long ago, but that was kind of like the original group, and they carried forward that name, the Defenders of Elturel.
God, that name sounds so familiar.
Well, they're a bit of a different order than mine, but still quite upright fellows. A real shame if none of them had made it away from the city before the tragedy struck. I actually wonder if there are any outside the gates now.
I doubt that. That was years. It was ages ago.
Oh, no, not... Well, I mean, I suppose any elven ones could still be here, but no, I meant any of the current Hell Riders, because they are still a current order.
The old barkeep Alan kind of leans in. Aplos, what are you
Yes.
talking about? You say you're going on an adventure,
Yes.
and now you're talking about the Nine Hells?
Well,
I mean, it seems like there's stepping stones to this adventuring thing, right?
going straight up.
Brendan goes, don't
Straight-
worry,
straight
Mr.
down.
Alice. There's,
Straight down.
I can personally assure you there's no way that Aplos and I are going to be going to hell.
Well, at least not while you're alive. Perhaps.
And he just is like, and he goes back to his business.
No, I meant, I only meant that they might be a good resource if there happened to be one amongst the order out there. They might, the song, it ties to. I mean, in the stories, the songs always tie together.
Aren't we getting distracted? Shouldn't we be looking for a Turina?
Yes.
I got some information. Well, not much information about Tarina, but things are weird here. They had a murder in the afternoon. Someone was just stabbed over dice, and everyone's on edge. Everything seems just a little bit unsettled here. So we are on the right track, I think.
Was Tarina stabbed?
They didn't say so, but I didn't ask. Let's flag him over again. See.
Bryn leans over to Lauren and says, maybe we should have looked at that.
You cut out there. We didn't get
You
the
cut
whole-
out at that last bit.
Sorry. Maybe we should have looked at that lost and found list a little quicker.
Tarina.
Are you unnerved with this whole talk of ball and now hell and the random murders?
Oh, quite. This is not what I enjoy doing. I know that my friend here, he wants to be an adventurer. I just want to sell things to rich people. But here we are.
Evangeline, did I catch it right that you wanted to flag Alan?
Yes, I was trying to flag Alan down.
Okay, he says, another round?
Yes, and also that fight you mentioned earlier, it didn't happen to involve Tarina, did it?
Oh, gosh, no. Well,
Okay.
for one, she never loses at dice. 2, she would never lose in a fight. And 3, she never plays dice down here. She's up on the second floor.
Oh, well, that's quite helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he replaces your drinks and charges you another 5 silver.
I go ahead and flick him 2 coppers to.
He kind of salutes you.
Bryn is not drinking.
Today I will have Brent's drink.
I'm
Do
not
I happen
paying for that.
Do I happen to see if they have like any gold-shouldered kegs on the back wall?
Let's see. Thanks for the follow, Urzoth. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Appreciate that. They happen to make a perception check. I'll Do it that way.
Would I have advantage on recognizing my own family name?
You scan around and you don't see that label. It would definitely be prominent for you if it was here.
Okay. I silently judge his liquor selection.
All right.
So, should we head upstairs then? See if we can find her?
Yes.
All
I
right.
will,
So as you make your way up the stairs, you'll see on that same map you have to toggle over to the right, but there's an open space there that you should be able to see, and that's the second level that the stairs go up. And so you make your way up, and there are lit lanterns that hang from the rafters here as you come up on the second floor, and it kind of is a little bit of a claustrophobic feel coming into the second seating area because there's no windows to lead to the outside. There are just two long tables, a couple of divans around the table where the one to the south, you can see someone's passed out sleeping there, snoring quite loudly. A halfling is sitting there kind of snoozing. But at the tables, you can see there are some lively games of dice being played. And quite a few. You see one game seems to have just concluded as you see a half-orc kind of like slam their fists on the table and stands up, and everyone's like, "You gotta get the drinks!" And you can see the loser, that was the deal, they had to buy the next round. So as you're coming up the stairs, this half-orc kind of like pushes past you to head downstairs.
Is there a woman at that party at the table?
There is. There's a number of people here.
Do they? So I'm gonna like kind of creep around this way. Is it the far table or the closest table?
Both tables are full of folks playing Baldur's Dice.
I want to try and locate someone who looks to have a much larger pile of gold trinkets and other winnings than anybody else.
Okay. I think no check needed to really see that. There is one woman that has kind of sleek black hair, and she has quite a few the tattoos that you would expect to see of a seafaring type. Different. There's like a skull and crossbones kind of tattoo on her left arm. Different, kind of like almost like a parchment map kind of like type of tattoo on her right arm with different locations. It almost looks like different islands have been like kind of tattooed on her arm. And she seems to be kind of cackling to herself a bit as she has just won a game of dice, and she's pulling coin towards her, much to the chagrin of the others that have just lost.
I will go ahead and make my way towards her end of the table and kind of just sidle up next to her if there's an open seat, or just kind of like, you know, how you get in between two people when they're at a stool at the bar on stools. Just kind of do like that shoulder in.
Yeah. So she clearly acknowledges you rather quickly. She's like, "Hey, you know how to play?"
I do, in fact, but not here for a game. We're here for business. The commander sends his regards.
Oh, you're just gonna come and talk business right away. Wow, what tact you have. Come on, play a game.
All right.
What do you got?
What's the going ante?
You better have, I'd say 5 gold. This is high stakes here.
I think I could part with 5 gold.
So you can see she reaches down in her coin purse and she throws an additional 5 gold out into the middle of the table.
I do the same.
And she says, well, roll them up. And make an intelligence check.
Just
see if
general
you-
intelligence.
Yeah, let's see if you actually know the rules of this game.
Okay, let me.
DC 13.
Can I do a deception check? Because I don't.
Mm,
Not a gambling man.
it'd be hard to deceive a pro gambler. So if you
True.
want to do a deception check, it would be at a disadvantage.
Ooh. I will take the intelligence check. Then. Oh! No!
Okay, I'll give you most of the rules, and maybe
Okay.
I'll leave a piece out. So Baldur's Bones is the name of the game. You can definitely tell that that's what they're playing. The beginning of the game, each player ponies up some money, and each player rolls 3 dice. The play starts with the guest. The host goes last, and so from this interaction, you can pretty well tell she's the host. So you'll be starting as she pushes the dice cup towards you. On your turn, you can either choose to stand or roll. If the player stands, the next player can take a turn. And a player who rolls, basically you'd start with 3. You would see your number. And you could add an additional dice. And there's a number that you don't want to bust. But you don't remember what the number is.
Ouch.
You want to get close to the number without busting.
Without going over.
But you can't remember what the number is. So she passes the dice cup to you, and you remember that you start with 3 dice.
Okay, alright. Let's do this.
It's 3d6, just like regular gaming dice that you would have in this kind of situation. Okay, so you got a 13. You know that you could add another d6 to roll, but you don't know what number that you need to hit. Or is the limit?
I'm gonna stand.
And you stand, okay. So then she goes.
And I am straight, confident face. I might even look a little smug as I take a look at my number, despite the panic inside.
She just keep rolling.
Wow, this number must be really high.
I know.
And she just looks at you with this look of, are you a fucking idiot? And she takes her 5 gold and she says, another game?
I usually don't condone stealing from the innocent.
She just starts laughing. Okay. Wow.
I'm not
You
a
said-
gambling man.
You said Commander Zod sent you.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, they really are desperate, aren't they?
I thought that was quite obvious.
Tell you what. Why don't I teach you the rules? Since you're not quite...
There's a number you're supposed to not go over, but I can't remember it.
Clearly. And she tells you, it's 21.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you
See,
could have rolled a couple
I was-
more.
Yeah, I was almost close. It was a 13.
Not really. No, you weren't even in the ballpark there. So
I mean, one more roll could have taken me well over that number.
don't bullshit a bullshitter. How the heck did the commander end up with you as his lackeys?
Well, for some reason, we were chosen. And by chosen, I think we were framed for murder and given an ultimatum. Which is on brand for the Flaming Fist.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got yourselves in a doozy there. So okay. That tells me something about who I'm dealing with here. And you want information from me.
Yes, but nothing more than what you would tell Zodge. I'm not interested in your dealings with...
No, you're not getting that deal. You're not getting that deal. You got to do something for me.
Oh, great. Yes. Cool.
See,
How can I be of assistance?
well, you said there's more of you. Those ones that you walked up the staircase with, they're with you?
Yes,
They'll do, I guess. They're armed. How do they do in a fight?
they do fantastic. Because we've been doing nothing but it all morning.
I'm gonna level with you. What's your name?
Lorem Goldshoulder Adventure Consulting and Concern.
Definitely not gonna remember that.
I have
What-
a business card here.
Okay, hand it over. And she takes it, stuffs it in her purse. So, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm half in the bag here because I was kind of expecting this to be my last day. But now, I've got a couple of suckers. You guys might be able to help me out. And I know something you might want. You help me get out of a jam that's about to happen in, like now. And I might tell you something.
Describe the nature of said jam.
There's probably going to be a bunch of guys coming up those stairs, and I don't know exactly the timetable. That's why I've been kind of passing the time here. But it's going to happen, and they definitely want to kill me.
I was told downstairs that you would never lose in a fight. Why are you concerned?
Because there's going to be a lot of them.
Okay, good to know.
What do you say?
wanna-
Need a yes here.
It sounds to me like you're...
Say that again.
It sounds like you need our help more than we need your help.
It could be, but I'm not going to be around for much longer if you don't help.
Yeah, we can definitely assist with this. How about you throw in a little bit extra information beyond what Zodge would bring out of you normally?
And as you ask that question and try to squeeze her for more information, you start to hear some barking voices from downstairs saying, Tarina! Where are you? You scoundrel! And you can see a look on her face say, oh, time's up. I guess you gotta decide.
I turn to everyone else and say, that's our cue! Hit them!
And that's where we're going to end the session tonight. Because we probably don't have nearly enough time to do this combat because it's going to be messy.
Oh, wow.
I will say, for the record, so when we start, I will have said that as I'm running towards everyone, and I want to slap shoulders as I go by, and just cast heroism.
Okay, well, the next session will start with an initiative roll, so on your turn you can do that.
Hopefully I go higher.
Oh boy.
So, one session of Avernus In the bank.
And we are already way in over our head. And
Oh,
we're not
no.
even in hell yet.
Completely, no.
Hey,
We're in
we got
trouble.
the Liching Hour is hanging out with us. Hey, man, how are you? I met him at Gen Con, 2 years ago? I'm glad you could stop by and hang out with us. We'll need to get you in a game here sometime. Hey, thanks for the cheer. So, did you guys have fun?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
that was great.
absolutely. Yeah.
Are you interested in...
My
So-
favorite was the Lost and Found forum.
Yeah. I was gonna say almost nothing that we did here tonight is actually in the book.
Yeah, I sounded like it.
And I guess I want to explain that a little bit. There's a reason I did things the way I did. And it's because, obviously, we had planned some stuff. We did a session 0 offline, and we talked about our characters, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the book. And there is a piece in the book that says something about you're supposed to talk to the group about a common dark secret or something that they have in common. And I thought that was just kind of boring to like talk about what the bad thing was. So I wanted to play it out, and that's why we did this whole murder thing in the beginning that you got caught up in. So that was kind of your focal point. You were all kind of stuck with this dead body situation in the beginning, and that there's maybe some blackmail that the way the actual book starts is they're like, well, you all work for the Flaming Fist now. And it's just kind of a lame like intro to the campaign, I thought. So I wanted to give you something that was more tied all your little pieces that you had given me from the session 0 into it.
I liked it. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot.
That was fun.
It was really interesting seeing everyone come in one at a time. Because I've tried
Yeah.
to do that before in campaigns that I've run, and it rarely works out that way. So it's nice to actually see it play out the way it was meant to happen.
Yeah, I think for the most part it did. Yeah, it was kind of funny to see, the group pretty early on was like coalescing to be like, oh, wait a minute, Flaming Fist guy, what the hell's going on here? And kind of a mystery. I think we glossed over the mystery of that a little bit, that there was a bloody dagger in Evangeline's purse. And
Oh
we don't
yeah,
know
someone set me
how
up.
that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm blaming Price, the little toy tinker guy. I think that he set me up. That's just like headcanon there.
Your internal theory as we play this larger
Yeah,
game
yeah.
of Clue.
So what you're telling us, Lauren, is that your character has absolutely nothing to hide.
Thing. I am an open book.
Oh, there's so much commentary that could go into that, but we won't do that right now. Because we've almost accidentally done that already.
That was fun. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
good.
that was a lot of
I
fun.
like it. Everything just kept building and building, and
Everything's
I know,
already
I
stressful.
was like,
I'm kind of nervous for the point where it just all collapses on us.
I feel like that's like the opening of the next game is going to be collapsing on us.
Well, the opening of the next game is just a good old bar fight. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I just like that the group was at the bar, like, already discussing. So we might end up in hell at some point, maybe, because of this song. And the poor dude that, like,
No way.
tending bar is like, Apples, I told you adventuring is dangerous. Hell? Wait a minute. There are degrees to this kind of thing. So. Cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, let's see. I'm kind of on my own this week, I think. The next time that our channel will be live will be Friday night for a subscriber game. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you can always subscribe and get in on our games. If you like the kind of fun that we have, the kind of game that we run, subscribe to the channel and get into our Discord server, and you can jump in on those. What we do with the subscribers is We play some of the old school adventures, Into the Unknown, or In Search of the Unknown, and The Keep on the Borderlands were repackaged in a book that Goodman Games did called Into the Borderlands, and so we run that with our subscribers. So if you got Amazon Prime, it's free for you to subscribe to the channel. You just have to have a Twitch Prime account. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get one for free. You just go to twitchprime.com and get connected with that, and then subscribe to the channel and get into our Discord server. If you don't know how to do that, and you don't have to be a subscriber to get into the Discord server, just click the panel below the video feed that says Discord, and you can get in our channel. We've got a bunch of great people that love talking about tabletop games, about D&D, all sorts of the nerd stuff that we're into. And so if you're looking for people that play such things and you want to join a community that does that, join us in the Discord. Yeah, so that was our game for tonight. Let's see, do we have any friends that are... So we got no stream tomorrow. Casey, are you still there?
I am still here, I think.
Anything happening on Captain Reboot tomorrow?
I don't think so. Tomorrow, I believe we are currently off. We'll be back Friday, either Tormana or Yulia. I forget which cycle it is for this week. So Friday will be our next set.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see everybody soon. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.